people, another episode of The World is Burning. Shout out to the 400 odd subscribers we have now. Love you all, guys. Keep it coming. Join the community, take a seat, enjoy. If you're new here, we're just covering the economic crises everyone's going through. I think we're all going through it right now. And we're also going to cover some of these collapses. I hope you're not sick of the layoff talk, guys, because it's not slowing down anytime soon. This video, we're just going to be covering the layoffs again. Look at this. Okta, which is security for the internet, lay off 7% of staff. January hiring was the lowest on month on record as layoff surge. UPS, they're not even safe, announces 12,000 job cuts. I mean, it's just everywhere you look, it seems like all these companies are scaling back. Polestar cut around 450 jobs globally. So this isn't even just regional, this is globally, guys. Tech layoff spike in January. We've got the Alphabet, Meta, and Microsoft. Obviously, the tech is still getting hooked, but look, Levi's plans to cut at least 10% of the global corporate workforce in restructuring. And you'll see a lot of this. They're going to call it restructuring. They're going to be shuffling people around. But yeah, guys, this is getting rough out here. eBay, 9%. We covered that last week. Tencent's Riot Games, 11%. TikTok cuts about 60 jobs. I mean, that's not a lot, but I don't know exactly how many they have. SAP, another huge company. I mean, we use them at the company I work at. It's just everywhere. Sports Illustrated, Wayfair, every single company, it looks like, is downsizing. This is a big one that's hit the UK, Tata Steel. This is 2,800 jobs, and that's in one area. So this one area is going to get shellacked, and 2,800 people are going to lose their jobs in one area. That's going to wreck that area. If we go here, we can see in 2024, we've got American Airlines. They're going to lay off 656. iRobot vacuum maker to lay off 350. Levi Strauss, once again, 10 to 15% of the corporate workforce. BT, UBS, Yellow, Accenture, Amazon, Maersk, Meta, Microsoft, Vodafone, Nokia. I mean, leave me a comment, guys, if you work for any of these companies and you've been laid off. It's going to come thick and fast now. Everyone's cutting back. Salesforce. I mean, these are companies that are doing pretty good if you look at their sales for the year. And this is where it's going to really start this economic issue, I think, because you look at this: 63% of workers unable to pay a £500 emergency expense. So these people are getting laid off. They might get 1 month, 2 month pay, but they don't even have enough savings in their emergency fund to cover a 500 expense. This article here was shocking. 1 in 5 people in the UK would find it impossible to pay an unexpected bill as low as £20. I mean, it's rough out here. So these people are going to get laid off now, and they already can't afford £20. It's going to get rough. So let's jump into it, guys. As always, I don't really watch these before I watch them with you. Leave me a comment. I want to know your thoughts. Have you been laid off? Are you being threatened with being laid off? Let me know where you're at in the world and how you're finding it. Let's get into it. Let's just start here.
Do you guys remember when I told you last fall that it was the season for layoffs? I told y'all I used to work in HR for like 14 years, and the season for layoffs is typically between November and March. Like, that is the time when they're typically making cuts and making room for new year, Q1 profits, and all that stuff. How many of y'all watched this video? This one right here. And in that video, I told you guys that some industries were at a higher risk than others, and that you needed to start preparing yourself by like watching out for what's going on in your industry, paying attention to your company's cycles, making sure that you are saving up money, paying off debt, and all of this stuff to minimize your risk
Yep,
in case it happens
speaking
to you. So
truth.
here's the latest list of tech layoffs, and there are more that have started in 2024. Now, including this list, even Citigroup has come out and said that they plan on laying off 20,000 employees over the next couple of years. So I really hope that those employees are getting ready and preparing themselves in case they're one of the ones that.
Just going to pause this here, guys. This girl's spot on here. You need to be, if you're working in tech right now, you need to be looking every single day about any news that might be coming your way. And you've got to be looking for a plan B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way through the alphabet. Have your emergency fund set up because there's going to be a rough time coming and you want to weather that storm.
And so, this is why I stress there's no such thing as job security, and you need to make sure that you are taking care of yourself first. This is exactly why I prioritize early on in my career keeping my debt low, paying
Yep.
it off, increasing my income so I could save 20% of my income, and making sure that I position myself to save up, 12 months of expenses so I could leave when I would want to and somebody else wasn't dictating my livelihood. So if that's something that you want to learn how to do for you, make sure.
Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. She's right here. Pay your debts off. You don't want to be in an area in a lot of debt right now. And now isn't the time to be taking on any crazy loans, or isn't the time to be getting in crazy debt or taking on any crazy car loans. I just unfortunately had to buy a car, but I bought it in cash because I don't want any monthly overheads. So yeah, let's see what the next one's saying.
Y'all, these tech layoffs are exhausting.
It's not
I
just
mean, they're
tech.
saying that it's not going to be as bad as last year, but it doesn't change the fact that thousands of people have already been laid off, and we're not even 2 weeks into January. So I'm going to give a couple of quick pieces of advice to anyone who is working in tech or thinking about working in tech. First, don't get too comfortable on the high salaries. I know so many people who developed unrealistic expectations because their salary grew so much in tech. I had a friend who, over the course of a year, at 25 years old, went from 60K to 125K. And they started living like someone who makes 125K. And then they got laid off, and now they're trying to figure out how to make it work on 75K. And I've seen this from so many people coming out of FANGs who are shocked at what salaries look like, even just in other parts of tech, let alone government, nonprofits, some of the other industries that are hiring more. So don't take it for granted. Manage your budget, save some money. Also figure out ways to make side income so that you're not fully reliant on your full-time job. That could be coaching, it could be content creation, it can be selling digital products, maintaining a part-time job. I had a friend who was making 200K a year and still worked 1 day a week in retail. That was just because he loved it and liked the discount. But hey, do what you need to do to have something you can fall back on. And if great opportunities come your way, just take them. Do not feel guilty. Companies, they may really like you, but they are going to lay you off if they have to.
Yep, they don't give a
So
fuck.
we have to operate that same way. We need to jump at things that are going to make our lives better or give us chances to build skills. You can't just be loyal and hope that something good happens for you at your job. I think at this point, what we have to accept about tech is that it's a high risk, high reward industry. The highs are high. You can make a ton of money. But the lows are really low. They will cut you off, and it might be 6 months, 12 months before you find another job. And that job could be paying half of what you were making before. So if you're in tech, you're trying to get into tech, I just think that's something that you have to understand and accept.
Yeah, good luck to anyone trying to start in tech right now. Let's read this comment here. .com daddy. Too many people were sending 2 emails a day and called that a job. Yes, that does happen.
Like all of you, I was so hopeful that once we got into 2024 that the job market might take a turn, especially because we know that this is the time when a lot of companies start planning out their headcount. And unfortunately, that just isn't true because in the first few weeks after coming back from the holidays, we are seeing a lot of layoffs. But these layoffs look a lot different than they did in 2020. Has anyone noticed that they've gotten a lot quieter? In 2020, we were used to this format where there would be first an email announcement, and then there would be an invitation for the entire company or whole groups and teams to meet at a certain time, and that's when they would be hearing about their layoff. Then they would receive a second invitation where they would meet one-on-one with their manager and then someone from HR and hear more details of this news. What we're not seeing as often these days is that company-wide email announcement. Instead, people are just getting one-on-ones put onto their calendar. We might hear about it on TechCrunch, we might hear about it on Layoffs.fyi, but it is noticeably quiet. You may also see it being kind of quiet on the employee front as well. In the example of the YouTube layoffs that happened this week, anyone that was impacted will have about 60 days to try and find a new job internally before their severance kicks in. So that means that some of these people won't be going to LinkedIn right away to make a post about how they've been impacted because they might actually still stay within the company. It's hard to believe that we've actually been in this cycle of layoffs for what feels like 3 years, and I'm curious to know, are there any companies truly doing layoffs the right way? Have you seen examples of it? If so, let me know in the comments.
Yeah, let me know in the comments as well on this video, guys. I've just been hearing nightmare stories. I haven't heard any good stories of layoffs recently. Yeah, no good news.
Breaking news. Layoffs continue to accelerate across the U.S. UPS announced today there will be 12,000 job cuts.
God, you know it's serious when UPS are cutting it, guys.
American Airlines announced they will be laying off over 600 employees. Pfizer's layoff campaign ramps back up
Pfizer.
with dozens of job cuts in the San Francisco area.
Jeez Louise.
CVS CEO announces more layoffs this week.
Probably 'cause all the
Microsoft,
people are
eBay, and
stealing.
iRobot cut hundreds of jobs.
Yeah.
In the first month of the new year, there have already been over 25,000 job cuts from retail to biopharma. Reducing costs, streamlining operations, and artificial intelligence are the reasons companies are giving for these job cuts. If you're curious for the most in-demand jobs for 2024, tax preparers and surgical technicians are topping the list. I love you. Have a good day.
Yeah, guys, no one's safe. No one's safe. Farbod Racharo. This is the end. It really is the end, guys. It really, really is the end. Right, I'm gonna actually try and find some different ones. I want to hear from the people. Layoff stories 2024.
It's layoff season. I do not have a job. Well, I won't have a job by the end of this month, and my husband just found out that his role does not have any more
Oh
funding.
God, that's rough. Both
so they're
people in
looking
the
for something
family.
else for him, but it's no guarantees. In the meantime, he's not working.
You know, we're giving her a follow.
Which means we have until mid-February to get something together, or else we will not be able to pay our rent, or we'll be able to eat. I'm sure. But like, that ain't gonna work for us. We live in Mexico, so our only option really is to work from home until we sort out our visas, which
Yeah, and
I'm
the working from
realizing
home's getting cut, people.
requires money, that of which we really do not have currently. So, as for the job market right now, straight trash. I'm talking like, you need to have 7 years of experience, but there's competitive pay, and that pay is $22 an hour, and you're working 50 hours a week. I'm just trying, can you make that make sense? In what universe are we in where 22 is competitive pay for 7 years of experience?
No, it's crazy.
We've been applying for like 3 weeks now, and nothing. And we have stacked resumes. So for me, I'm just a little shooketh on that, but normally we would not have handled this well, this news. But we've been through so much already. We're like, you know what? God's got it. Like, we're not even worried. At this point, we're just excited to see, like, what is God gonna do? Because this is nuts for us both to not have a job.
It's a rough
So we've been
situation.
focusing on things that we've been wanting to do that we couldn't do. And still applying to jobs, obviously. But we're really, I don't know, we just feel like something else is gonna happen. And I just want to say, if you're going through this too, like, just stay hopeful. Like, this is not our 2024. Okay, no. This is just setting us up for the next level. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you just needed to be kicked out of that job because you were staying there and you shouldn't have, aka me. So, I don't know. Let's just see.
I feel for it. Stay strong, girl. Keep applying. Hopefully you'll get something. But look at this one, Carname. Getting a job in average now seems to take 3 to 6 months with experience is crazy. Emergency funds are a must. This is what I've been saying, people. You need to save that emergency fund. Forgo the short-term pleasures and save that emergency fund. Like this one here. Bren Lizeth. I've been laid off since June. I will be out of money by March. This is the story that is a lot of people are living with right now. Laid off since June, out of money by March. So he's burning through his emergency fund. So even emergency funds aren't the safest way to do it, guys, because people just aren't getting hired right now. No, I want to hear from
It's
people
2024
who...
and I'm still job hunting.
There
Thought
you
I'd
go,
give an
sort me.
update today. Today's the first week in 2024. So basically in 2023, like probably midway in December, a recruiter reached out for a screening and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not available. And then she wasn't available and she was like, okay, I'll reach out in 2024. But because I've had a lot of like ups and downs in terms of my expectations with recruiters, I wasn't super hopeful that she would, but then she did. So I got really excited this morning when she contacted me. So I have an interview lined up now for this week. I have another interview tomorrow that we like planned on in late December. And I'm still waiting for a few companies to get back to me. I am giving them like a lot of leeway because there was just the holiday. People are just getting back into the work swing of things. And really this week, that is going to be my focus. Interviewing at these companies, then applying to more new jobs, and also reaching out to connections for like any sort of referrals, getting recommendations, and seeing if I could like work for some people that I feel like could be a good fit if they're interested in hiring me. So that's my focus.
Yeah, and look at this, guys, day 40. So she's on it, day 40. She's been out of work for just over a month now, but she's applying to everything. And you have to do what she's doing, people. You can't just go online and bang out a bunch of CVs anymore. Even with ChatGPT or someone making you a really nice CV, you got to be hitting your referrals, smashing LinkedIn. You got to be asking friends. I know you might not want to do that, but that's where we're at right now, guys.
I just got laid off from a job that I've had for 11 years, almost 12 years in August. There are so many like emotions around it, sadness and anger. Also, I'm kind of excited. I'll be able to think, do house projects, write my book. Instead of interpreting this as something that's like happening to me, I think I'm gonna think of it as something that's happening for me. And I say all that having just cried at my desk. Anyway, if you've been through this, tell us how you got over it, through it, in the comments. And if you're currently going through this, I'm right there with you. Yeah, I still can't believe today's my last day. Maybe it's the first something else, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming this girl's got some money or something set up because when you're laid off doing house projects and sitting around writing a book, which is if that makes you money, is going to be a long journey. You must have something set up. So shout out to her for having something set up and she's taking it in a stride. But yeah, I don't think that is applicable for everybody.
Fingerdown, if you started working at a news startup that launched in May of 2023 and at the beginning of January 2024, your company starts laying off people and you hear from your CEO that if the company does not secure any more rounds of funding, that it could be closed by the end of the month. So you don't really hear any updates for the rest of the month. You get to January 31st, aka the last day of the month, and you, along with any coworkers in California, start getting your vacation time paid out. And you still haven't heard anything from management. Everyone is slacking in the general Slack channel, trying to get answers. Still no word from upper management. And then people are freaking out. Then people start to send pictures of their pets. Then midday West Coast time, there is a New York Times article that comes out saying that your company is shuttering. Meanwhile, you still haven't heard from upper management. Your editor-in-chief says they don't know. They're not looped in. They will let you know. And then 2 or 3 other media organizations confirm the news that your company is closing. So then you finally get an email from your CEO with difficult news. You are now no longer a company, effective immediately. There is no severance. There is no health insurance starting tomorrow, and you are on your own. Happy New Year.
At least she's smiling and positive about it, but that's rough. Yeah, they don't give a fuck about you. Your employers really don't give a shit. They'll leave it to the last minute. They won't give you any notice. And then they'll just tell you it's done. Startups are going to have a rough time of it, people. I think startups are going to have a rough 2024. Yeah, shout out to everyone who's been leaving comments in the community. I think we've got a nice little community going on here, guys. So I figured I'd just go through some of these comments, seeing as people have been leaving them. Cac Pratt 18. There is definitely something brewing in the world. I work for a big food retailer in the UK and they have laid off or are about to lay off all of middle management and supervisory positions in the next 3 months. So it's not just the workers, people. Middle management, supervisors, they're going as well. Learn to code, oh wait, I remember when that was a thing, guys. Yeah, remember when learn to code was a thing. See how that's working for you. This is also sad. I worry so much for the future of the world. Agreed, Alice. Agreed. I've never worked in tech. This is Brazkahad 8998. God, some of these names I had to say. I've never worked in tech, but I saw how things were going back in 2008. I worked in industry as an installation and maintenance electrical engineer. My position was made redundant, so I became self-employed. I think a lot of people are going to be becoming self-employed in the back of this because there just isn't the jobs for people to go to. Matthew Dignam 837381. Now would be a good time to invest in these companies. Profit margins will increase because of this. This guy's actually on the money right now, because if you look at Meta, Amazon, and these places, their stock has like kind of popped a little bit recently whilst they've been laying all these people off. Final one, are there any unique handles? I hate to say it, but sometimes it's better to get laid off in the early rounds. If things are getting worse, those later on are likely to get less. In Canada, when Nortel spiraled down, the early leavers took their pensions and found jobs, but late leavers, many lost their pensions. A lot was held in Nortel stock, and the job market sucked. So yeah, guys, keep leaving comments. Love to hear from you. I reply to pretty much every single one of them. If I don't reply to you, my apologies. But it's getting rough out here. I can't see these ending anytime soon. Leave me a comment. What do you think your take on the next 6 to 12 months of this layoff nonsense is gonna... How do you think it's gonna go, guys? Leave me a comment. Catch you on the next one. Bye.